Oh man. Oh, guess what? Hello
Good
all.
morning. Yes,
Good
hello,
morrow
hello.
to all. I hope everyone is well. Welcome back to another
Welcome
glorious,
back.
wondrous, fantabulous episode that is Real Talk. Hello, Coach.
Indeed. Hello, Coach.
How you
I'm Coach
doing?
Natalie.
I'm Coach Lobo, and we are here to rock and roll with all of you today on our latest episode. What are we talking about today, Coach?
Oh, beach bodies. Are you ready for
Beach
beach bodies?
bodies.
Are you ready for the
OMG.
beach?
Is it that way? Is the beach
Yeah.
that way? Or is it that
How
way? Or
big
maybe
is
it's
your beach
both
ball?
ways. Or that way. I definitely should have gone sleeveless for this one. Oh well, might be.
Right. Well, it's not
Yes.
beach body season yet, so you're fine.
Hey, look, here in New Jersey, it's going to be 80 degrees today for whatever reason. So
I'm so jealous. In California, it's only going to be like 62, and we're all freaking out about it because it's so exciting.
it's almost like the planet's mad about something. But anyway, that's a topic for a whole other
Crazy.
podcast. We're going to leave
Okay.
that to the experts. Today, we're going to talk about our expertise, which is, yeah, hooray, let's talk about Beachbody, right? Yeah, it's that time of year to get super ready to be mostly exposed skin wise on a granular surface next to the ocean or lake. Yeah, all right. Ooh, all righty. So, yes, we wanted to tackle this today because I think it's something that is very much in the fitness vernacular that comes up a lot, right? It's just like, oh, we need to advertise to our patrons. How should we do it? Oh, let's attack their self-image. It's going to be the best way for us to do this. Absolutely. So
Pain
let's go ahead.
points.
Let's
It
go ahead
works.
and talk about why it's happening. All right. First and foremost, what the heck's a beach body? Right. Number one, what's a beach
A
body? Why
body,
are we
a
going with?
body you take to the beach. I don't
Oh,
know.
you mean like a human construct? Just like I'm
Yeah,
pretty
like
sure there's not a height
a bag
requirement
of
like a roller
bones.
coaster, like, you don't need to be this unclothed to, whatever, right? Okay. So let's talk about it from a fitness perspective. What is beach body? All right. The way that I see this as someone who obviously has done their studies of the science and the results that many people are looking for, I think we can just call it tone, right? And what
Which is a
tone really,
tricky word. Yeah.
right? Like, okay, and so now let's dive deeper. What the heck is tone? All right, and this is something that I could very much get on a soapbox, but I'm going to try to keep it nice and short today. All right, tone essentially is let's make the muscles push up against the skin. All right, so muscle size, and let's reduce the amount of layer between skin and said muscle, or fat reduction. All right, essentially extra body mass. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. People are looking to show up less clothed in public with their muscles showing. All right, and avoid being self-conscious of any additional layers of necessary adipose tissue. Yes, no, maybe.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head. It makes when you break it down like that, I think people start to feel like, oh gosh, that's like A, really simple, and B, really silly that I'm kind of freaking out over this thing when
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing, right? Is just the bottom line is it's pretty much what most people are looking for when they go to a gym. And like
Yeah.
we've talked about in so many episodes leading up till now, well, let's make sure that we're doing so in a safe way and an efficient way. Otherwise, you're just going to be very frustrated, very discouraged, especially if you're not reaching these, goals of having a physique ready for a magazine cover. And we've talked about Photoshop on other episodes, by the way. So that's a nice shortcut to
Ad
just avoid that
nauseum.
whole
Yeah.
chat, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
bottom line is, let's just reframe it. Like, let's stop worrying about the beach body modality. Sorry, my hand is petting a dog right now. But yeah, let's
Hand check.
hand check. The puppy needs attention. God forbid we're just filming without puppy attention. All right. So here, all right, you need to go lay down, silly. All right. So the bottom line is, all right, let's just focus on what we're really looking for, which is self confidence. I want to feel more
Right.
confident when I go out into the world, which I'm going to do more so because it's beautiful outside, because it's finally warm and sunny again.
Yeah.
And I want to feel confident in the person that I'm presenting to the world.
and and able to. That's the other thing we kind of want to, we'll touch on a little bit later too. It's
Right.
like, do I look good? Cool. Do I feel good doing the things I want to do? Even better.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Does that roll us into number two, Coach Rob?
Well, the other thing I wanted to just make sure we talk about is just kind of the expectations of the modality that you use, right?
Okay.
Like, if we're going to set these lofty goals, what are the chances that we can actually accomplish them first and foremost? So the thing that I like to just bring up is just a little bit of the science in terms of physical results take a while, right? Like we're not going to get an overnight, like, crash diet strategy or, sauna suit or anything that you might see, right? And,
Yeah.
kind of those modalities of, oh, well, look at these people and how incredibly fit they are. It's like, again, if you're comparing yourself to ultimate fighter athletes and elite wrestlers, you should
Or movie stars preparing for roles. All those
maybe dial it down.
yeah.
Okay, join us here in the real world because they live
Yeah.
in a fantasy land. Okay, like let's just call that what it is.
Yeah.
And the other argument is a lot of those techniques are really super unhealthy in the long term, right? Like we're not looking to do that often, and when we do, the body's going to suffer. All right, so
Mhm.
the first realistic expectation is start now because it's going to take 2 to 3 months to really start to see the physical results you desire, especially muscle growth and especially extra fat loss. It's going to take at least 8 to 12 weeks to really start noticing a difference. So put in the work now. All right. We're still in the beginning of April. So if you're looking to be, on the beach in June, July, August, like now is the time to start. Right. And again, we're not crash dieting. We're not doing anything super crazy. All right. What we're doing is simply making the necessary changes to see that progression over time. All right. And we're going to obviously break that down as we get
Yeah.
into more of our numbers moving forward. But yeah, anything else you wanted to cover there, Coach?
No, that's perfect. I think let's tell them how to do it.
All righty. Well, number two is number one of that list. All right. So, bottom line is we want to increase activity. What an idea. Oh my God, move the body more. It's almost like we talk about this all the time. But
Yeah.
here's the good news we're not filming this in winter anymore. We're wearing short sleeves and shorts. All right.
Right. We're not
So,
giving you hacks on how to do it like in a 3 feet of square space so that
in a
don't
very
wake.
reduced gym space. Hooray.
Yeah. No, the world is now your gym, right? Like
Right.
it's awesome. This is like another, if you're new on your fitness journey and maybe you've only started over since the January 1st, even though we cautioned you against that completely. Um, now's the fun part of the year where you're not having to go to a gym or stay bundled up to do all the things you want to do outside. Like the world's your oyster now. So
Exactly. And just take advantage of it. I mean, obviously, there's going to be negative weather days where it's going to be raining, gross, and whatever. All right. We need all those Mayflowers to bloom from our April showers and all that kind of good
yeah.
stuff. Right. But you already have the backup plan. You already can
Yep.
go into that happy place that hopefully you've been using from watching, all of our videos in the past because you've heard us give you that advice before and you're like, hey, I should totally do that. So good on you. All right. But
Yep.
now, get out there, go do the more fun stuff in your less confined space. What a concept.
So should I just like go get my gym membership now? Is that what you're telling me? Like go, go, go.
Yeah, that's totally our message on each of our
Yeah.
episodes, right? Yeah, I mean, and this is what I'm saying is the gym membership is still going to be a tool in the toolbox. If it's your happy place, go for it. Like
Yep.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. They're happy to have your business, and if you are getting out of it what you're putting in, which is usually your time and your finances, then cool. That's awesome. However,
Yep.
for a
Keep
lot of
on keeping
people,
on.
yeah, but for a lot of people, myself included, all right, that's not my happy place. All right, that is simply, a place where I could go to access maybe more gear that I just simply don't have access to. But I got plenty of gear here. And like I said, I would much rather be outside, like, moving logs and rocks and doing a landscaping project than, pushing dumbbells over my face on a bench press, like 100 times out of 100. So
Yeah.
again, you do you, I think is the overall message. If the gym membership allows you to do that, wonderful. But if it's not, don't feel like it's a requirement in order to reach the goals that you have in mind. Just might require a little bit more creativity of how to use the resources that you already have access to.
Right. And I mean, and seek joy in those places where maybe you've kind of forgotten, like, oh yeah, I used to go on a walk like in the evenings and, you
right?
know, after dinner, now that the sun is shining for longer, right? Like we're having these new opportunities to squeeze movement into pockets of more day than there was before. Like it's just
Yeah,
simple science at this point. So yeah, don't discount your movement that you're adding that might not be necessarily like a workout tracked on your watch. You know,
right,
it's could be a walk in the evening after dinner, or get up with the sun and do some yoga and start your day that way. You know, like that's
right,
movement too, not necessarily some new modality of fitness that is
right.
like a trendy one, you know?
Exactly, exactly. Go with like the oldest school science, right? Use your circadian rhythms. Like we are
Hmm.
creatures on planet Earth with more daylight and sunshine and warmth. We naturally want to move more. That is just, I mean, look outside. The plants are doing it right now. Everything's starting to bloom, right? The
Hmm.
animals are more active and losing their winter coat. I mean, it's just across the board. And guess what? We're part of the animal kingdom too. Sorry, humans. We're pretty
Yeah.
special, but we're
We're
still
not
part of
that
the
special.
we're still
Yeah,
part of the overall scheme. So there you go.
for sure.
All righty. And then moving on to our next one. All right. Like I was saying, what is tone? All right. So we talked about how if we're doing our happy place activities, hopefully our muscle is going to be improving. All right. And growing as a result of that. But the other side of the tone equation is going to be reducing some of the excess that might be covering up said muscles. So, this is the time to start focusing your nutritional choices on things like water, fruit, and vegetables. All right. That's super essentially basic, going all the way back to the food pyramid stuff we learned in what elementary school or whatever. All right.
Hmm.
Until now, hey, guess what? Stuff that comes from the earth is good for you, and that remains true. And we got all of our organic stuff and all the various modalities there to make your choices even more diverse. But the bottom line is, now is the time to really focus on the hydrating side of things, because it's going to be really good for your skin. All right. By having that extra water, you're going to be able to obviously do more activity because you're not going to be dehydrated. All right. And also, of course, all of the nutritional components, let me
Okay.
not make up words,
We knew what you meant. We
that
knew
make
what
up
you meant.
fruits and vegetables, right? We're getting carbohydrates, you're getting vitamins, we're getting minerals. A lot of really important things when it comes to, kind of the gasoline and the fuel that we need in order to do our activity without feeling like logy and like slowed down. Like, no, like that is the happy place. So if we can incorporate that just more so into our regular, meals and snacking choices, again, you're just going to be setting yourself up for more success.
Yeah, and I was going to say that our number two kind of had segued perfectly into just eating seasonally too, which, you know, is a whole nother podcast that we could do as well.
Yeah, there's
But,
that.
you know, it's kind of like more fun to eat seasonally this time of year. You're going to have all your fruits and veggies popping off right now too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's more easily accessible too, and it's going to be more affordable,
Right.
especially if you're looking to like hit up your local fruit stand or your farmer's market. You
Exactly.
know, that's you're not getting $8 berries from Mexico, you know,
Right.
or Guatemala or whatever. Like, and if that's been a barrier of entry for you for eating healthy, like
Mm-hmm.
have the excuses now because it's the time of year where it's readily available. So should I be cutting out everything that's bad? Like, should I stop eating all the bad things, all the
The bad,
sugars
the
and
evil
carbs
foods.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
They're out to get you. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. All right. Again, we've talked. I think nutrition was like one of our earliest episodes, and
I
the
think it was
main
our first episode.
there. Yeah. See, and then there's that, right?
Yeah.
We might have jumped off the diving board from there. It's been a while, right? But the message is the same. It's always going to be the same. Moderation is key. All right. It
Yeah.
really just boils down to that. Is if there's things that you enjoy in your diet that are more of a treat for yourself as opposed to a fuel source, cool. Just reduce it. Just keep it, at a comfortable minimum, I think is the best way to think about it. Like you kind of
Mhm.
scratch that itch, you get to enjoy that thing, but you're not overindulging yourself, right? You're not overdoing it to the point where you're going to therefore experience the adverse effects of whatever the, makeup of that material might be, right? To each
Mhm.
their own, right? This is just a wide umbrella statement for whatever
Right.
comes to mind when we say this to an individual, right? But the bottom line is, again, if I'm incorporating more water, fruits, and vegetables into my daily intake, then I'm going to usually feel a little bit more satiated, a little bit more full in general. So the hope is that you're going to have fewer cravings as a kind of general overall theme, because your belly isn't sending those signals to your brain going like, oh man, I'm hungry. Oh man, I'm hungry. We're out of hibernation season now. So now
Mhm.
it's, hey, let's go do activity. Let's go burn off
Yeah.
all the fuel that you're intaking, right? Like, again, we are animals in the animal kingdom. So act accordingly, which is take advantage of the new environment of warmth and sunshine.
Right. And my experience with cutting out anything has been I just want it more.
Oh,
So
of course.
just remember that that's mostly a mind game too. Like any extreme dieting that you have heard about, seen, it is intended for you to usually buy a product to accompany it. And yeah, and as soon as the program or the challenge is done, you're in, if that is not a sustainable lifestyle change that you have made, you're going to be right back to square one, because you're
Or
like, oh my
worse.
God, on day 76, all I wanted to do was eat an entire pizza and a tub of ice cream because I haven't gotten to have any of those things for
Yeah.
75 days or whatever length of your program is. So just keep that in mind too. Like, unless you're making small baby step incremental changes to the way that you approach nutrition that are sustainable for you specifically, it's not going to work in the long run, unfortunately.
Yeah. There's I'm pretty sure Biggest Loser isn't a thing anymore, right? Like we got rid of
Oh,
that,
I
didn't we?
hope not. I did not care for
Yeah,
that
it's just
show.
like, yeah, did we not learn? Like, did we not see the experiment literally get done in real time on your television screens for multiple seasons to show you this doesn't work? Like, it's an
Yeah.
entertainment variable now. If they're using it for entertainment, it's not a sustainable fitness trend. It's just the
No.
reality of the situation. They're showing you reality TV to draw in your attention because it's wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so speaking of like the kind of made for TV ad sort of situation where we're talking about like, oh, it's getting sold special gimmicks to reduce your belly fat or
Oh,
tone that waist or
ooh,
whatever it is.
uh-huh.
Let's go into number 4 and spot reduction, because that's one of the
Oof.
things that I get asked all the time. It drives me up the wall.
I just want to show this part. I just
Yeah.
want this to be good. So what do? Do I buy pills from
Yeah.
a
I
gas
just,
station?
yeah.
Is that what I do? Is just go to that little kiosk at the gas station and buy those pills? Yeah, no, please don't do that. First and foremost, like let's just make sure we got that covered. Please don't buy pills from a gas station. All right.
If our virtual assistant would just put a flashing sign right here for
A little clippy in
we
the
don't have
corner.
a
It looks
virtual
like you're
assistant.
making a terrible life choice. Do you need help getting out of your terrible life choice?
Oh,
All right, spot reduction. One of the biggest myths in the fitness ethos, right? Oh man, if I do a bunch of bicep curls and only bicep curls, my arms are gonna get shredded, and my legs are gonna stay the same, which is awesome. Except that's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. All righty. We again are talking about intake versus output. Okay. If I intake 2000 calories, we'll just use that as a nice, easy number. And then I output,
we're not prescribing that, by the
no,
way.
then we're just using even round numbers. All right.
Yes.
If I intake 2000 and then I burn 1800 of that, all right, that means that there's something still left in my body that is then therefore going to be put off into a reserve fuel source, normally fat reserve. All right. If I take in 2000 and then I output 2200, hey, guess what? I've used up some of the reserve that I have in my system. Now you'll notice that at no point did I mention any specific body part in that equation, because the equation doesn't take that into account.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about, again, survival of the unit, efficiency of the unit. The body is one unit. Just like if you buy a car, right? Like you're not going out and buying your tires and your engine and your windshield and your seat belts. No, like that would be silly. you should go just buy a car. that that's a full car because that's the easiest thing. So when we're thinking about the fueling and the output of the body, think of it as one unit. So the other thing to go into is, well, once I'm burning, where does it come from? And we've definitely talked about this in a previous episode because I love this
Yeah.
rant, is that the body likes to keep weight in the midsection. Why? Because it likes to stay alive and keep its
And
very
protect all those
vital organs.
things inside you.
Yeah,
Yes.
keep all those vital organs warm and literally shielded from the outside world. So, a lot
Mhm.
of times when people are going through a transformation phase where they're losing weight, their output is greater than their input, it's usually coming from the extremities first and the midsection last. And people get very frustrated because they go, "Oh, I'm doing a million crunches and planks and wood chops and everything, and I'm just trying to target here. Why am I seeing it only in my arms?" It's just like, because your
Or for
body is
women,
trying.
like my boobs and my butt. Like, yeah, those are
Yeah,
excess fat stores.
that's what that's made of.
Yeah.
That's the literal makeup of that region of the body.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if the body is trying to survive, which is literally its function, right, is just to be alive, because a not alive body doesn't do any functions. All right, I feel like we're going straight down a logic rabbit hole here, but right, like let's just keep it there. Okay, the bottom line is we want to look at it as a total whole. All right. And like I said, the work is going to take time and it's going to take effort. There are no real shortcuts here. There are efficiency strategies to make it, more likely that you'll get to your results in a timely manner, right? And feel good while doing it, as opposed to like
Mhm.
sacrificing energy levels and things of that nature. But the
Right.
bottom line is, you should be looking at it as an overall whole and just continue to make it part of your routine. And if your goal is to, yeah, make your midsection more appealing when you look in the mirror, well, just know that that's the hardest goal. That is the peak that you are building up to. There's no shame in taking credit and celebrating your goal of simply making any progress, right? But the bottom line is, if that's your end all be all, that's your gold star, expectation, just give yourself a break. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of effort, and most of all, it's going to take consistency. It's going to take
Yes.
just showing up every single day and making an effort in order to get to that point.
And good choices, because it's not all coming from push-ups or sit-ups or,
Right.
it's a combination of lifestyle choices that go, far beyond what you see on Instagram or, wherever you're getting your inspiration from.
Right.
This is it's a whole package deal, just like you said, because you are a whole package, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Exactly.
So we've obviously talked about, like, you can't really spot reduce. Can you spot add in terms of muscle
I mean,
to
yeah,
keep that?
sure. My follow-up question is, when are you scheduled to compete in a bodybuilding competition? Because, like you just said, right? Like the Instagram stuff just comes to mind immediately. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're trying to fit into this box that's been handed to you by our current culture. Um, I just go, why? Like, how much body positivity do we talk about in this channel, right? It's just like, we are all built very uniquely. Like, first and foremost, you got genetics, all
Yeah.
right? You probably look like a combination of your parents, and they probably look like a combination of theirs, and so on down the tree, all right?
Yeah.
So that's the first and foremost thing, is just like, your body outcome might not match what you see on Instagram because you don't have the same
It's
genetic
not that
code.
body. Yeah.
You just, you're using different building blocks. So
Yeah.
you can't build the same structure. Like you just, yeah, I mean, we could come up with all sorts of metaphors here, but I think that kind of covers it.
You got it. You nailed it.
Right. Like the thing I always think of is like the gods on Mount Olympus, right? Like they're just like so ridiculously cut and shredded, and right. Yeah, they're also immortal and made up. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Mount Olympus isn't on Google Maps. So, well, I think there is a version, but it's not that one. All right.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same. Okay. But the bottom line is, physique shouldn't be the goal. right? It should be the efficiency of how the body works. You should have energy to do the things that you enjoy. You should be able to get through your workday without feeling absolutely crushed by it and like stumbling in the door at the end of the day because it just took all of it out of you, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, if you're doing this stuff right, you should have a battery to pull from, right? Like you should be able to keep that efficiency no matter what you're trying to accomplish in a given day. That is a wonderful expectation to have. All right. Now, if you happen to gain more confidence because your body is making transformational changes, that's awesome. Like
That's
that's
part of the
super
battery.
cool.
Yeah. So you're just
Yeah,
bloop, bloop, adding back up to that. Yeah. The battery to draw from for sure.
exactly. And plus, like, hey, if we're losing excess weight, guess what? You're carrying less weight around. Like you literally have to work
Mhm.
less hard to do your day-to-day routine, which is going to feel more comfortable. And I've talked about that a lot of times too, right? I think the end all be all goal should be comfort, right? And but comfort not in like the comfiest sofa to sit and play video games for 10 hours at a time. No, comfort to go and do activity, be an active participant in society and have fun with it, that kind of thing. You
Yeah,
know,
you could call it freedom too. And I just had a conversation with my some friends the other night. They came over for dinner and we were talking about um just freedom doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want whenever you want. Like the true definition of freedom is having the mind capacity to make the best choices for yourself, even when they're not the easy, slippery ones, like sliding into your comfy armchair for 10 hours, eating a bag of chips or
right,
whatever it is, like
right,
that's not freedom if you're a slave to your vices, right? Like that's not comfort. If once your comfort food is done, you're sad, right? Like that's not
right.
actually what comfort means, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's just literally electrical signals going through your brain. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's literally what that boils down to. Is just you've turned on a certain area of the brain that gets pleasure signals based on that intake. And as soon as the intake's over, so are those signals. It's
Yeah.
that immediate. So what we're looking at, again, like the question was, can we put muscle on strategic places? Well, again, if it's for the ability to have confidence and the battery and the wherewithal to do the things you love doing, go for it. Like I'll bring up an example. Like right now, I'm very much enjoying the golf world. All right. And, it's getting warmer. It's Masters weekend. So, it's kind of time to get pumped up and ready to rock. So, when I'm doing a workout, all right, I'm thinking about, okay, like, do I have good flexibility and range of motion so I can swing all my clubs? Do I have good, overall power, which is speed meets strength in order to smack a ball, over 250 yards on my first shot to make my follow ups, that much closer? And then do I also have you know, kind of the endurance it'll take for me to walk 18 holes in a day. Like there's a lot of physical fitness attributes that I'm looking for that go into, what I see as, oh, this is a successful progress for me because, oh, now I can go do the things I like doing better. Like I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure anyone who does any sort of activity wants to be good at it, right? So yeah, tailor your activities and your expectations around that so that you can enjoy it more. You can be more comfortable doing those fun things, and therefore you see the value in it. And if along the way you build up some muscle and you lose some excess weight, hey, guess what? Now you got that beach body too. Oh my God, win-win. Like that's exactly what we're talking about. Is just don't go for it for the physique. Go for the enjoyment and the physique will follow.
Right. Yeah. Keep practicing your craft. If you if you love to swim and you keep swimming and you're having a good time swimming, you're gonna have a swimmer's body eventually, right? Like because that's what your body is used for.
Right.
Like that's to Rob's point, it's like, yeah, Rob's gonna build the golfer muscles all summer, as he golfs. And that is, less a product of him. I mean, he knows what he's doing, so he is strategically planning, but you could go out and golf a couple times a week and you would feel stronger and more adept at that sport and build that endurance up too.
Right.
It does not take
Right.
like a crazy amount of like external not work. I won't say work because it does take work, but
It does take work, yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't take like reinventing the wheel is more of what I wanted to
Right.
say, just in terms
Yeah,
of like, oh my gosh, okay, so now I have to go get a this and a that and a, no, just keep practicing your craft, and
right.
get guidance from people that know what they're doing and are excelling in it, and maybe look the way you want to look and see what they're doing. But yeah, don't get too wrapped up in like this. I think this goes into number 5 pretty well about our kind of like celebration, going into
Yeah,
celebration mode, like focus on the wins, right?
exactly. So yeah, so let's round it out with our number 5, which is simply be proud of your results, no matter what they are. Like if you put in work, if you put in effort, if you make this a thought process that you go in each day, each week, each month, all right, for the sake of self-improvement, be proud of whatever you get out of it. Like maybe it's not perfect. Maybe some of the variables just, didn't align the way you want them to. Maybe things out of your control very much, held you back a little bit. Oh well, bottom line is if you're better than you were when you started, pat yourself on the back, celebrate it however you need or like or enjoy, right? And then analyze, right? Look at the next time. That's the nice thing about this is it is kind of cyclical. Like, guess what? As much as we're celebrating out of winter, it's gonna come back. There's gonna be winter again, right?
There is.
Right?
Aren't
I mean,
you?
and out in California, they still have it now. So there's that. Right? So bottom
Yes,
line is,
yes, we do.
in terms of the timeline, all right, if you're watching this now and you're thinking, you know what, like I like where this messaging is heading. I really should be putting a little bit more effort now that, things are shifting in the outdoor space, cool. Let me do it to it. And then June, July, August comes and you're still rocking and rolling and you're doing your thing. Just again, make sure that at some point you're just giving yourself that nice pat on the back, that nice, kudos to yourself in the mirror, whatever it might be. All right. Because you could have chosen to do nothing, which is what the vast majority of people choose to do. So I always make sure I give big props to, especially like my clients or anyone who just reaches out for help, because it's so much easier to not take that step. So first and foremost, just for taking that step, you should celebrate. And then if you
Yeah,
continue down the
absolutely.
path, of following whatever advice you might get, and just continue to put in that work, it should just be more celebration. There should be a lot of positive here, and then a little bit of negative. Something I'll steal from one of my childhood coaches was he had a mantra that he told all of his assistants. My dad was an assistant coach on my lacrosse team, and he was told this by the head coach. He said, "We yell encouragement and we whisper criticism." Right?
Mhm.
Because a kid
Ooh,
doesn't need to
I
be
like
on the
that.
field being told that he sucks by an adult by playing a sport like in a game. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter, right?
And
But if
doesn't
they're
help.
doing,
And it
and
definitely
it
doesn't
definitely
help.
doesn't help. Yeah, then
Yeah.
there's that. But the bottom line is, but if you hear encouragement coming from your sideline, that you're doing great, that they see your effort, they see you out there, they see you working, right? Yeah, I'm gonna feel ready. I'm gonna be gung ho to keep on pushing and see if I can score that winning goal for my team or even an assist, right? Like, just whatever I can do for the betterment of everyone around me. But the bottom line is do that within yourself. All right. Be loud about how proud you are of your progress. But if you need to self-criticize, just lower the volume. All right. Don't beat yourself up because this is not easy. There's a reason I've made a career out of this. It's because people continue to need help. So the bottom line is if you're going for it, that's a win. You're already winning. All right. Any small losses along the way, hey, brush them off, move on to the next one, and we'll get to the next celebration. Uh-oh. What's going on, coach? Something exciting?
My kids are waking up. It's
Ah,
7:45
so
here. Just
I have my
time.
little furry child and you
They're
have the
being
real
very
children.
understanding. No, it was like, use your bathroom, not mommy's bathroom.
See, we are real people too. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, not and that's the thing too. Like if we want you to crush your goals, right? Like there is nothing better as a coach or an instructor to hear a client or a participant come to you just like gushing about how they have achieved whatever measurable goal they have set, and immeasurable ones are honestly even more fun to hear. Like I love to hear one of the moms in my workout classes being like, I fit into my pre-pregnancy jeans. Amazing. Oh my God, I love that. But I also love to hear, I've been sleeping like a baby,
Right.
the little things that you might not hit the negative 10-pound mark on the scale. That's okay.
Oh, well.
That doesn't mean you didn't lose 9 pounds, right?
Right.
Or that also might not mean that you didn't fit into the new bikini that you saw at Target and impulse bought and we're like, oh God, I hope I can wear this in July. Like
Yep.
it success is going to come to you wrapped in so many different shapes and sizes of boxes and packaging with different color string on it, and take them all, right? Like enjoy every single one of them, because it's not worth ruining your summer, for example,
Right.
or blowing up a family vacation over you having body dysmorphic issues, on the beach, when you should just be splashing in the waves with your kids, or
Right.
enjoying holding hands with your loved one walking down that beach, right? Like, or, your sister's wedding or whatever it is, like maybe your
Sure.
bridesmaid's dress is a different cut than you thought it was going to be. That's okay too. You're there to celebrate love, right? So
Right.
celebrate every little thing, and don't get hung up on the nitty-gritty of like, oh, maybe I didn't get to the, as you were describing the slope of the like 6-pack ab goal up here, maybe you didn't get to the top of that hill, but maybe you got halfway up, right? Like, or maybe you got 3/4 of the way up, or maybe you even got like, you looked up there for like a second and were like, that's actually not for me, and I'm going to go up this hill instead. So yeah, we just like to encourage people to like set realistic goals, set goals that are measurable, because you can track your progress, and like tracking progress does help you meet those goals. But also, yeah, just remember the little gems along the way too. And that's my rant's over
I
now.
love it. I love it. Exactly. Right. And so the bottom line is, and we kind of wrap up each episode this way, but I think it really resonates with this messaging, which is please reach out if you need help. Right. You
Yeah.
can comment below. We're here on YouTube. You can reach out to me. You can go on my website, Fitness with Slobo. You can get a free consult. We'll literally just talk on the phone about what you're looking to accomplish. And I'm going to give you some free tips and tricks to get you going either. And if you decide you need more help, then guess what? You can join a coaching program. Imagine that. So, but the bottom line is, again, hopefully you see that our mindset here is just that of positivity, that of accomplishing, the correct goals, with the other goals kind of coming as a result of that work, right? Like really just shifting the mindset and the expectations, so that everybody wins. And I really think that's the
Yeah.
point. And to finish with the last little visual, you might not reach the peak, but even halfway up, the view is way better than where you started. All right.
I
So
love
with
that.
that, we're going to call it a day. Coach, always a pleasure. Thank you for your
Yes, thank
time.
you.
I appreciate you. To those watching, make sure you like and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff. Reach out if you need any sort of help whatsoever. Do not be shy. And we will see you on the next one.
Bye guys. Thank
Until
you.
then, be well, enjoy that weather, and we'll see you then.